Welcome, fellow disciples of speed, to this episode of the Online Museum. I'm excited to get to share this room with you today. This is where I have a lot of my larger scale cars. Not so many 164 like we've looked at a lot in the past, but some of the bigger scales are here. And there's several cabinets right here in this room. And so we're going to dive right into that. And I hope you enjoy as we move forward into the big cars. Okay, first off, we're going to look in the Matchbox cabinet here. These are models of yesteryear that are all in pretty darn good shape, pretty good condition. You can see a lot of the earlier ones here. And then up front are really the oldest, the earliest models. All in very, very good condition. A couple of quickly to point out here. One is right here in the middle. We've talked about that before. That is the Coronation Coach. That started all of Matchbox when Lesney produced that in 1952, released in 1953 for Queen Elizabeth's coronation. And then right up front here, we've got the three different Bentley Roadsters, racer cars that we've talked about in the past as well. There was the original small one released, and then the two bigger ones. And they're slightly different, but they're pretty much the same, except that the red seats, that one, the casting's a little bit different because it was designed for, it was modified for the ashtray and pin set that Lesney put out for a while with cars on it. And some of these cars have the holes on the bottom for that. All right, moving down, this is the king size shelf. So you see up top there, some of the king size. Most of them are in very good condition. Some of them are a little rough, but show some play wear. But some very nice pieces there as well. And then looking in the back there, you can see some various trailers, and there's the Fords and tractor, need the tires for that, and there's the Dodge double dumper, and up front the BP gas pumps, the storefront, the little garage, the Esso gas pumps, all parts of the accessory packs. Okay. And then moving down here, this is the Super Kings. So you can see on that top shelf back there, various cars. And then down below, there's the Ferrari racing hauler in the back. So quite a few of those, and I've got some located elsewhere here, you'll see a little bit, but that's the majority of them right there. Okay, we'll move on here. Over here, on top of this cabinet, you'll see I've got some various hood ornaments and you know, pieces from different cars. On this shelf, what we have is the Star Wars and Star Trek ships. And this is just a handful of what I've got, but just a few of them. But I've got these on display here. Coming down here, we have the Saturn V rocket. That's a model kit, plastic kit that I built. And then down below we have some other pieces from the space race. There's it's a G.I. Joe doll, but that's Buzz Aldrin. G.I. Joe action figure. It's not a doll. And then we have some space shuttles. There's the space shuttle on the 747, and there's a space shuttle in the background there on the rocket booster, and a smaller one as well. And what you'll notice is, or you may be able to notice, is that the Saturn V obviously is huge. And it was a big rocket. It was the first rocket that took us to the moon. And the space shuttle was back and forth to the International Space Station. Those are about the same scale, so pretty good view of how different they really were. All right, and from here, we're gonna go up top. And up here we have some airplanes and model trains. And so just various things up here as well. I've had model train layouts in the past. A bunch of die-cast airplanes up top here. And a lot of great planes. Those three right there on the stand, those are actually by Matchbox. Matchbox put those out several years ago. Also up front here, I'll point out some Star Wars figures. These are on speeders, so various Star Wars guys there. They're in front of the Amtrak passenger train here. And we come on over here, and you can see the Santa Fe passenger train and the war bonnet. That's what they called that paint scheme on the Santa Fe. Up top, actually it's 4 of those that are Matchbox. 1, 2, 3, 4, because there's a Sopwith Camel right there. And coming back through here, a bunch more of the airplanes. There's a DNRG, Denver Rio Grande Western Railroad train, and there's a Red Baron, and a couple more planes on the end there. You'll notice in front of the DNRG locomotive is the Back to the Future DeLorean on the tracks. All right, so now we'll back down off of the top and we'll come over to this side of the shelves. And up here we have some Matchbox working rigs and some 124 and a couple of 118 cars up here. There's a couple of Ferraris, Pontiac, and we've got some of the presidential limousines here as well. On this shelf, the cars here are model cars that I built mostly as a kid, some as an adult. And then on these shelves back here are some various makes, but just some real pretty models. You can see the Studebaker Hawk right there. There's a model of yesteryear up top there, the green one. That truck in the back with the 2 shipping containers, that's a Matchbox Super King. And one thing I'll point out on this shelf is that you see that 63 Impala right there in the middle. Again, that's a model kit that I built, but it's just exactly like a car that I owned, as is this 68 Chevelle right here. I built those and painted them to look just like cars that I actually had at one time. We have some more race cars on this shelf here. Again, some various makes. Just a lot of great cars there, as well as 3 Matchbox models of yesteryear there as well. Here we've got some more examples of some cars, old race cars. And then we got 124 die cast. This is kind of my Mopar shelf. So you'll notice that it's predominantly Mopar and all 124, with the exception of a couple of Fords right there at the end. Moving down here, these are back here. We've got some Hot Wheels racing haulers, a couple of tow trucks there, and then this is mostly my Chevrolet shelf. So we've got, a couple 55s, and there's 3 55s. There's a 56, 57, 62, 64, El Camino, and so yeah, there you go. Some great cars there. On this shelf back in the back, these are from Japan. These were cars that my grandmother sold in her hobby shop at a place called Heritage Square here in Colorado. And these were left over after she retired and had a bunch of cars left over. And She gave all of these to me. Here's some more of the Matchbox working rigs. And then we've got some more 124 scale cars here, die cast. This is kind of my silver, with the exception there of that Jaguar there, but kind of my silver lineup. And then we get down to some 118s, and in the back there is some more of the Matchbox working rigs. You can see those back there. But here we have 118 scale, some old Chevy, a couple Studebakers, well, actually 4 Studebakers lined up here. And that is a 63 Studebaker Hawk GT, and 3 of the Mopars. And then we got a couple of GT40s. The original GT40, driven by Ken Miles, and then the GT40 Mark IV that was driven by A.J. Foyt and Dan Gurney, both of those at Le Mans. And here are some of my 118 scale, and some more down here. You can see in the back there's some 124s as well. There's a Vega, and then I got a lineup of Corvettes here, and you can see a couple of VW Bugs back there. All right, let's open up this cabinet, and we'll start up top. So in the back, you can see some cars. That green Model A, I've talked about that one before. That's the oldest car in my collection, from 1928. Again, it was my cousin found it in the wall of his house when he was doing some remodeling down in the Panhandle of Texas. And some Tom Daniels cars there. And then if we pull up a little bit, you can see that beautiful Buick Electra 118 scale. And there is a promo car of the Chrysler Turbine. And then a couple of 1970 Impalas. And the reason I point those 2 cars out is that I had a car that looked just like those. It was the Caprice. Actually, I had the Impala and the Caprice for 1970, but the Caprice was that gold color. There's Mercedes. We got a DB5 there, a Miura. Coming down, there's some Indy 500 pace cars there. That's a set that I had given to my brother for Christmas one year, and it ended up back in my collection after he passed. So there's some Fast and Furious cars, and then we got the Gone in 60 Seconds Mustang, the Corvette, Ferrari, and then some of the movie cars. There's from the Mr. Incredible, yeah, the Incredibles, and the Ghostbusters, a couple of Batmobiles. In the back is the 58 Chevy from American Graffiti. The Thomas Flyer is a model that I built as a kid as well. There's a Monsters car. And then we got a nice selection of motorcycles here. The red plastic one is just like one that I had as a kid that disappeared somewhere, but I was able to find another. That red Honda Trail 70 is a model kit that I built, and I actually own a Trail 70, a full-size one. You can see some of the Hot Wheels rumblers here in front, along with some of the other motorcycles, and some just different motorcycles from different eras. That purple one there is a early Matchbox, as is the one with the brown rider. So that one's in mint condition with the rider on it. That's a great one. Okay, down here we've just got some older cars, various cars from different makes. The 2 in those plastic cases are both Mercedes, and I was able to get those at the Mercedes Museum in Stuttgart, and as well as the blue hauler there, that also came from Mercedes-Benz. Here we've got some Franklin Mints, 4 Franklin Mint cars. So we've got the Tucker, we got a Cadillac, and then we got a 57 Chevy and another 63 Impala. And then in front, just some various cars, Ferraris and Studebakers. The next shelf, I think I've talked about this before, but this is my Richard Petty area. Those two 124 scale cars are both Franklin Mint as well. And then just a bunch of different Richard Petty race cars. And then over here are the Snake and Mongoose. So the big cars, well, they're all, frankly, they're all Hot Wheels. All of those Snake and Mongoose cars are all from Hot Wheels. So nice set there. All right, coming on over here. You can see up top, we've got some more cars in the back, but I wanted to show you these plastic ones back there. Those are model kits. Some of those were my dad's kits. So those kits come from, you know, like the late 40s, early 50s. So those are old kits. And then in front here, we've got, you know, DeLorean and that race car there, that's a Lee Petty race car. That's a Johnny Lightning. And then we've got some other 124s. The Stoops sprint car is a model kit that I built. And coming down here in the back, we've got some really nice models there. All examples of older cars, and again some various makes back there as well. The boat is a Matchbox that I had as a kid, and I turned my light off accidentally, and it is in perfect condition still, so very happy with that. And then here's some more model kits. So these are all kits that I built, just various cars, with the exception of the one on the end. That's a Dodge Ram diecast car. Down on this shelf, I do have some more Matchbox models of yesteryear, as well as some other makes back in the back there. But you can see some variations, particularly in these two Lang haulers. The one has a bulldozer on it, or a tractor, as they would call it, and the other one has a tank. The tank doesn't actually belong with that one, but you can see the difference in the wheels of the two haulers, and so that's two different eras. When they went from the two-piece red plastic to the white metal, and then we've got some more cars back there, and then here we've got some Volkswagens lined up, that Rover, and that Mercedes, and the green car, which I can't remember what make that is, but those were three that came out of my grandmother's hobby shop as well. And then got a Lamborghini and some McLarens with a Mini in between. Okay, and down on this shelf, got some VWs back there, just some different cars, and then we got some pickups here. You can see a Harley Davidson in the back of that pickup, and then there's a trailer in the back of that pickup with some scooters on it, but some nice pickups. And you can see a lot of the gas pumps back there. Those are all Greenlight gas pumps from their series, different series that they have. I have them kind of scattered all about throughout here. Down here, that United Rentals truck was given to me by a friend, and then here we got some more cars. Some of these were, a couple of these I think came from my brother's collection, and then I've got some NASCAR cars here. Obviously I got another Richard Petty car there, and coming across this last one though, the number 88 UPS car is signed on the top there. You can kind of see it by Dale Jarrett, and there's a Dale Jarrett figure standing there next to him. And then there's a picture back there of me and Dale Jarrett at a golf outing, a UPS golf outing. So that was really fun to meet him that day. And a few more cars here. This little sedan here, the red, white, and blue one, that's a Hot Wheels. And got a Mustang in the back there. A couple of the modern T-Birds. One's convertible and one's a hardtop. Got a cattle truck back there. A couple more minis. And just some nice cars. And another little Chevy pickup back there in the corner. A couple of Mustangs. And then some more 118s here, 57. These two low riding, kind of looking like Merc wagons, are both Hot Wheels cars. We've got a couple of older McLarens there. Got the Beatnik Bandit, which is a Hot Wheels as well. And then a couple of Roadsters. And this semi back there. All right, now we'll move up here. Way up top is a T-Bird and a BMW M1. They're a little tough to see. They're both plastic, but they're a little bit older. On that shelf, we've got some older cars. The yellow one is also a Matchbox model of yesteryear. And that's a Matchbox. The green Charger or Satellite, I'm not sure which that is. That's a Matchbox also, as is that model of yesteryear. There is a Dodge Magnum. It's red, but I own a Dodge Magnum that's blue. There's a Matchbox model of yesteryear fire engine, an old McLaren Can-Am car, and E-Type. And then we got a couple more cars there. There's another DB5. And this is a model Matchbox Super King that would have had an airplane on it, and the airplanes on those haulers disappeared. You never did find them again. So I was recently, Hot Wheels came out with that airplane that's part of a hauling kit. So I put those two together. Came out pretty good. And then a bunch of green lights here. Campers, trucks, old pickup campers, some motorhomes. There's the one from Breaking Bad. And then there's the one from Christmas Vacation. And we got a few Batmobiles here. It's from various years, various eras of Batman. And a few extra cars there. There's a Chitty Chitty Bang Bang sitting there. There's an original, that's a Hot Wheels, but it's an original Batman, the red one. And that rock right there, that's kind of a special rock to me. That's from the Great Wall of China. Picked that up in 1986. No, I'm sorry, 1984. And here we have the 124 scale green light trailers. Camp trailers, and then of course 164 scale there, and a couple more cars there. All right, here we've got some F1 cars. Got a McLaren, Mercedes. Then we're coming down to the GT40s again. These are the three GT40s that finished 1, 2, 3 in 1967 at Le Mans. So the black one was the one that was given the win because of the greatest distance traveled, and that was driven by Bruce McLaren. Got some more race cars there. There's the Porsche Le Mans car that was made famous by in the movie Le Mans. And then we have two Hot Wheels there. So that's a Hot Wheels Maybe Toys that is made in Italy, and Mattel bought that company, so it's actually a Maybe Mattel car. And then these cars here are Matchbox Specials, so they're sort of part of the Speed King series, but they were just called Specials. And then right here we just have a few more 118 cars that are still in the package. There's a Aero McLaren IndyCar driven by Alexander Rossi. We've got a Ferrari FXXK, the Bugatti Bolide, or Bolide, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. And we come down to an E-Type, the Gullwing Mercedes, and a Mustang. Okay, then lastly, we're going to look at this cabinet. So here are my open wheel racers. We've kind of looked at these a little bit before. Some of these are Formula One, some are IndyCar. So there's a mix of cars here. In the back there, mostly Formula One, but there are some IndyCars thrown in there. And there's Corgi, and there's just different makes. And then we've got more here. And we got the 118 there, driven by 118 scale Lotus, number 10, driven by Graham Hill. And a couple of models that I built. One obviously undecorated. And then we've got some Corgis here. And there's some GT cars. We've talked about the Tyrrell 6-wheeler before. And some newer cars that have come out as well. And we got a couple Indy cars there, 124 scale, and there's an Indianapolis 500 commemorative car back there. And this is kind of my Dodge truck shelf. So just a lot of Dodge trucks here. So kind of fell in love with Dodge as a kid. As far as trucks go, the Dodge Ram is what it is today. It's the Ram. But here's just a whole bunch of those. You know, it's Greenlight, it's Hot Wheels, Matchbox. So just a little bit of everything here with Dodge. And then lastly is the motorcycles. So on the back shelf back there are some of the couple of the street not touring bikes, but you know, the sport bikes, and a little scooter, and then we get into all of the cruisers. So quite a few of these. Most of these are Maisto manufactured. So just a bunch of those that, like all of my collection, some of them I acquired, some of them were given to me, and so yeah, this is this part of the museum.